journal. Page 5, le journal parle des perturbations des services électriques au Cameroun et Néo qui accuse donc Sonatrach d'en être à l'origine. Nous continuons ce matin avec le Messager, lui qui parle en grand titre d'une trentaine de voitures neuves stockées dans le parking du ministère des Postes et Télécommunications depuis 4 ans aujourd'hui. Les détails sont en page 5 de ce journal. En page 11, le journal parle aussi de la canne Total Énergie. Les Lions sont donc déjà au pied du mur à quelques heures avant le kick-off, le match d'ouverture. Nous terminons ce matin avec le journal L'Info à chaud, lui qui parle de la hausse des taxes au Cameroun sur les transferts d'argent. Le journal déclare à cet effet qu'Express Union demeure le moins cher après leur investigation. C'était tout, mesdames, messieurs, pour votre revue de presse en langue française. Place à la découverte de ces journaux en langue anglaise avec toi, Lasha.
Thank you, Gwladys Bomotonguina. Let's kickstart this morning with Cameroon Tribune newspaper. Cameroon Tribune is focusing on the D-Day of AFCON Total Energies 2021 in the country. The newspaper this morning tells us that we are told that the D-Day is almost here. The come this 9th day of January 2022. We leave the National Bilingual Daily Cameroon Tribune. We are with the Post newspaper. The Post newspaper this morning is interested in the Anglophone crisis, talking about the head of state State of the Nation's address on the 31st of December 2021. Biya regime terms or 10 schemes of President Biya being is informed into political strategy. Biya masters Anglophone problem more than Atanji and Co. How Biya's hardline position continues to reach a crisis in the two English-speaking regions of Cameroon. After 2022, a new Cameroon steps up investments, standby arrangements in electricity generation and distribution across the national territory. We talk about Cameroon bringing up to of African an unforgettable football jamboree. As you all know, the opening match or the opening ceremony is this 9th day of January 2022 at the Ole Sports Complex, or the one known as Paul Stadium. As we are told, with you now to the Guardian Post newspaper. Of course, we are ending with the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post is interested in the IC University Cameroon that is making a grand commissions celebrated varsity Professor Jean Emepondi as Vice Chancellor of the said institution. Let's talk about AFCON 2021. This time I'll talk about registration of fans. Fans are they are frustrated as we are as tickets unavailable for 8 hours to kick off for the said sport jamboree in the country. Many fans are frustrated. They have got tickets or 6 points and they cannot get tickets for the only match or all matches that they are interested in watching as the competition kickstarts this 9th day of January 2022 at audience Mina Boss Envoy Hills Government Hospitality to Central African refugees. Models in this edition of the Guardian Post newspaper. The Guardian Post is still interested. It's also interested in AFCON 2021 to talk about a new that's assured the steady supply of electricity across the national territory. Thank you for watching. We are back in studio, and this morning we are receiving a human rights defender in the person of Amadu Tarnteh, and we shall equally have another human rights defender or peace crusader live from the United States of America in the person of Dr. Nick Santos. He's already on the line, and let's have him. Good morning, doctor, and thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lasha Kinsley. It's a pleasure again coming on My Media Prime.
Happy New Year. Happy New Year to you. This is the very first time for the year 2022.
Yes, I am very glad to be here this 2022, and I pray that the 2022 brings to us the peace that we have been crying for all this while.
The peace that we have been crying, but unfortunately, Cameroonians started the new year with a message or reminder from mobile telephone companies telling them that a 0.2% tax will henceforth be levied on all mobile money transactions that they carry in the country. And since then, Cameroonians have been grappling with this new tax, and they say it is an attempt or a deliberate attempt by the government to rob them of their money.
Mr. Lasha Kingsley, I will tell you that we consider that as a very great threat to peace, because we have had many threats to peace. We have had the prisoners who are in jail, whose situation has not been better. We've been struggling here at the Peace Patriots to afford to them some bags of rice and tins of oil with which they could celebrate Christmas and New Year. We fed some prisoners in Douala, and we fed some in Yaoundé. We have Galim Felix right now, whose leg has almost been paralyzed. We have a lot of them who are sick behind bars. We have also other threats to peace, like what has become rampant, like poisoning that has happened these last days, which is a threat to peace, because we are seeing now that instead of people losing their lives to the barrel of the gun, some are losing their lives to poisoning. There's a lot of cases of poisoning that has been reported. And so people have to be very careful these days as they drink in beer parlors or they visit friends and eat outside. These are all threats to peace. We have the refugees who are also out of the country, those in the north. You have seen those in Chad and those in Nigeria. The situation is not good. And we have also the economic situation of inflation that has come in. We still have continuous killings of the voices who have not surrendered. And these are all threats to peace. So we have a lot of threats to peace, but in the midst of this, we are about to welcome visitors. Is it that when two brothers fight and there is a visitor, they have to keep their fights or problems and receive the visitor in a bit of not shedding dirty linens in public? That is the question we have now with the AFCON. Thank you.
Okay, Doctor, we'll be coming back to you. And let's have Amadu Tarnteh, who is joining us. He's a human rights defender. Thank you for joining us, and Happy New Year.
Good morning and Happy New Year once more, Mr. Lasha Kingsley. Good Happy New Year to telespectators of my media prime. Happy New Year particularly to Dr. Hile Kamga, my mentor. At least it's a privilege for me to be here once more this 2022.
Okay, and yesterday you are a member of the civil society. Yesterday the civil society met in Douala, where they termed some action taken by the government of the Republic of Cameroon, especially the mobile money tax and the circular or the release of the Director General of Taxation, talking about taxes that will henceforth be levied on associations and non-profit organization. Civil society termed it yesterday as a robbery of the civil society by the government of the Republic of Cameroon.
Well, actually, as you just said, it's really a robbery on the civil society organizations and a serious threat to freedom of association and freedom of association, human rights in general, and freedom of association in Cameroon. It's regrettable that our government is only acting on the principles of their duty and not responsibilities, because the issue here is very clear that the living condition, the living standard of Cameroonians is remaining very poor despite everything. We keep seeing taxes being improved, being increased, be it directly or indirectly, but the government is doing little or nothing to increase either the salaries of workers or to improve the working conditions or to give opportunities to the farmers to be able to improve their products on the farm, or even to create more job opportunities to Cameroon. Because my major problem here is not even that the tax is increased, because it's a responsibility of the government to increase the tax, but improve the economy. First of all, even the tax that is being gotten from this money, they are not used properly. Those money are embezzled by this our leaders who are they are meant for development, but at the end the money is instead embezzled by this our leader, which is not good. We keep calling on Cameroonians to the government, President Paul Biya, the head of President of the Republic, the ministers, and each and every one of them to make sure that they act responsibly, do things in a way that will favor Cameroonians. What they just did is a serious threat to life of Cameroonians. And here we of the civil society yesterday in our report, we made it very clear that all those things are strict violations of human rights, and there's possibility that such things may cause social unrest in Cameroon. That Cameroon defense. The Cameroon president needs to, and the other collaborators need to be very proactive in their decision. They need to reason very well, act wisely, avoid taking decisions that would causing more other problems in Cameroon. And we went on to even talk about the the threat on the freedom of expression and all the rest, the freedom of assembly, and the recent sentence of some members of civil society or organization or political parties to about 6 or 7 years and below in imprisonment, which are serious threat to the right, the exercise of the right of freedom of assembly or the freedom of expression, pray on the Cameroon government to do everything possible to make sure that these guys are granted general amnesty for us to have at least to let the voice of other civil society organizations or other political actors be heard wherever necessary.
Okay, Dr. Nick, do you really think that those who drafted this bill, this thing on mobile money stuff, they actually evaluated the consequences or the impact probably on the digital economy and Cameroonians before drafting this bill?
Mr. Lasha Kingsley, if you ask me that question, definitely I will tell you that we have arrived at a situation in Cameroon whereby we have rectangular pegs into square holes. It doesn't puzzle me whatever decisions have been coming out from Cameroon, from the state of Cameroon. I think that the first problem is the problem of leadership that we have. For example, if somebody studied agriculture and is sent to be the Minister of Education, or somebody studied banking and finance and is asked to be the Minister of Justice, you know, the whole system needs an overhaul. It needs it needs new policies, new decision. It needs new people who are professionals who are able to take decisions that reflect the domains of the various facets of the society. Because let me tell you, this is not the only area that I've pointed to you that we have a problem. The decision is wrong to tax, to multi-tax. You tax the companies and you tax also the clients.
Not only once, you tax the client on so many fronts, so many times.
Remember, Mr. Lasha Kingsley, I live in the United States of America, which observed the Civil War, and one of the causes of I mean the premises on which this country was founded in 1776 was the premise of no taxation without representation. So you see, taxation without representation can also be over-taxation. You tax the companies and you tax the individuals, so that is double taxation, and it can also lead to a war in itself. We are already at war, and I think all the other sectors also need not join this war, because right there's an economic war also coming up. And people are already sending out messages that those of us who are here in the diaspora should not use mobile money to send them money, that they prefer to go to the banks. Okay. I don't know whether it will be saved by the banks as well, because it looks as if the government, in a bid of raise money, is following the flow of cash. Wherever the cash is rolling from abroad or rolling from anywhere, that's where their eyes are going to. So it's a wrong decision. I pray the government should reverse this, because it's also.
But don't you think that the problem is even with our MPs, because most of them they clap the bill through Parliament. Did they not read through the bill?
A lot of things have gone wrong. A lot of things have gone wrong. The MPs that you call MPs, most of them are not the representative of the people to begin with. Who voted them to be MPs? They were hand-selected, because if I should know. You don't represent me if the election was not free and fair, period.
Okay, Doctor, we'll be coming back to you. Let's talk about this other issue that has to do with fans, tickets for AFCON 2021, 48 hours to kick off of the tournament, and fans don't still have a ticket. Amadu Tarnteh.
Well, permit me start first of all by thanking the government for the marvelous job they have done in doing everything possible to make sure that Cameroon hosts this the AFCON 2022. Though we felt in 2019, it's a really privilege, and we thank government for everything they have done. That notwithstanding, with regards to the ticket, I think the Cameroon needs to be at least a sense of some patience. I know there might be a mix-up somewhere, so while the organizing committee should see what they can do in order to readjust the issue.
Okay, Gwladys.
Effectivement, Lasha, j'avais une question pour le docteur Nick Santos au regard de la taxe qui a été la hausse des taxes dans les transferts d'argent au Cameroun. Alors, au regard du fait qu'on augmente les taxes, on augmente les prix des produits sur le marché, la vie des Camerounais n'est pas améliorée. Est-ce qu'on ne peut pas penser à une machine qui a été mise en place simplement pour pousser les Camerounais à la révolte? Ou encore, pourquoi ne pas penser à une situation où on veut pousser les Camerounais à penser peut-être que le chef de l'État est contre eux?
Miss Ongito, Gwladys, and I believe that's the name. I'm becoming used to that name. I'm happy to the question. I'm very glad with the question that you posed. There is a problem, a very big problem, because as I said, and as you have just said, this is another war. The economic war is always the most devastating. It's even more than the political war because it has to do with the stomach. If you remember, the stomach of the people. If you remember, the French Revolution came as a result of an increase in the price of bread. As I told you, the American Revolution, or what made the America its independence today, was on the premise of no taxation without representation. When you tax people because you want to cover up an inflation, and when the prices of goods and basic stuff are so high, it will push people to the wall, and to an extent that they can rebel against the state. So at this particular point in time, those who make these decisions have to be very careful, because those of us who are in the diaspora also, we feel the heat because we are the ones who transfer this money to help our poor families on the ground and take care of others who are in school and other places of life. So I think it's not a good decision at all. And I think the government should rethink about this decision. But you know, the basic problem is that we are suffering an issue of having gone through a political crisis for 5 years alongside armed conflicts in the north and armed conflicts in the northwest and southwest, which seems to have brought the economy crippling. And this has led to inflation because production does not match consumption. And I think also we have that problem of foreign investors, and especially some of us who are in the diaspora, not having been able to be in the country to invest. When the doors in the diaspora of any nation are caught on crossfire and are unable to invest, for example, the buildings, the high rises and buildings that used to be erected by those who are in the diaspora, the containers of goods that used to be shipped in Douala, they no longer come because most of these people here consider Cameroon no longer a safe haven for investment or a place to visit. There's US and other international bodies who have put advisories to visitors not to visit Cameroon because it's a danger zone. So let you see all these things. For how long shall we continue if we do not come together as peace lovers and humanitarians to talk and to call to the good conscience of the government and everyone that it is high time to talk. It is high time for us to have another dialogue whereby we could discuss and break this impasse, and then cash flow continues to come into the country so that the few people down there will not be overtaxed and you people will not be suffering from high prices of goods, the better. That's why the Peace Task Force Initiative has been looking at all the areas where the peace of the people are affected and give advisory to that effect. Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you for taking our time this day to talk to us. It was a pleasure having you. Hopefully we'll be with you next week if time permits or if your schedule permits, Doctor.
Before I go, Mr. Lasha Kingsley, there's one more announcement I would like to give from the Peace Task Force and from the Peace Patriots, which is the fact that in spite of all what is going on, it will not be good for us to shed our dirty linens in public because we have too many visitors in the country. Okay. That is why I will plead and crave the indulgence of everyone who is involved in this crisis to at least observe a moment of truce or armistice so that this AFCON, the African Football Cup of Nations, should go on smoothly. And to that effect, the Peace Patriots have erected a fan club, a Peace Patriot fan club with T-shirts that are available, and we'll be having a stand with a speech delivered by the Peace Patriots from the diaspora. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Doctor. Thank you to televiewers for taking our time to watch the very last edition for the week, which was, of course, produced by Christain, Tebong, and we were Bomotonguina, Gwladys, and myself, Lasha Kingsley. See you on Monday, God willing. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
La bonne musique ne se trompe pas. Elle va droit au fond de l'âme, chercher le chagrin qui vous dévore et réveille nos espoirs.